Hollywood is in absolute mourning, but the grief is quickly turning into cold, hard horror. Legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife have been found dead in their own home. And the lead suspect? It's a betrayal so dark it's shaking the industry to its very core. Was this a tragic mental health spiral or a calculated act of cold-blooded revenge? Stay tuned, because we are about to expose the bone-chilling secrets inside the Reiner household that the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. The world of cinema stood still on the night of December 14th, 2025, when the news broke that Rob Reiner, the genius behind The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally, was found lifeless alongside his beloved wife, Michele Singer. The setting was their high-security, multi-million-dollar estate in the elite Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. What was supposed to be a quiet holiday season turned into a gruesome crime scene that has left the LAPD baffled and the public in tears. According to official police reports, the couple was discovered by their daughter, Romy, who arrived at the home only to find a scene described by first responders as utterly catastrophic. Both victims suffered multiple sharp force injuries. Within hours of the discovery, the LAPD didn't have to look far for a suspect. They apprehended Rob's 32-year-old son, Nick Reiner, just blocks away from the residence. He was reportedly in a state of extreme emotional distress and was taken into custody without bail. The industry is reeling, asking one simple, terrifying question. How did one of Hollywood's most respected families end up in such a violent tragedy? While the headlines are sticking to the police reports, the whispers behind the closed doors of Hollywood tell a much more complex and darker story. Insiders suggest that the tension within the Reiner family had been reaching a boiling point for months. Sources claim that just one night before the tragedy, Rob and Nick were seen in a heated public argument at a high-profile industry party hosted by Conan O'Brien. Witnesses say Nick was unraveling, screaming about years of being controlled and the pressure of the Reiner legacy. It's further speculated by those close to the family that Rob and Michele were preparing to stage an intervention to send Nick back to a long-term psychiatric facility following a recent relapse. Insiders suggest that Nick may have discovered these plans, leading to a final, fatal confrontation. There are even deeper rumors floating around Hollywood circles that a lost CCTV recording from the home's kitchen captures the final moments of the argument, a tape that is currently being guarded by the district attorney's office. Was this a crime of passion, or was there a deeper, darker resentment brewing for decades under the shadow of a famous father? The internet has absolutely exploded, and the hashtag Justice for Rob Reiner is currently the #1 trending topic worldwide. On X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok, fans are alternating between heartbreaking tributes to Rob's cinematic legacy and amateur detective work. A viral TikTok theory, currently sitting at 10 million views, suggests that the tragedy is a grim mirror of Nick Reiner's own semi-autobiographical film, Being Charlie, which dealt heavily with drug addiction and strained father-son relationships. Meanwhile, the Hollywood elite are divided. Some stars are calling for privacy, while others, including several high-profile political figures Rob often criticized, are using the event to spark a massive debate about the failures of the mental health system in the U.S. The hashtag #TheReiner'S is also gaining traction as users dig through old interviews, looking for signs of the cracks in the family's foundation. The public isn't just sad, they are hungry for answers, demanding to know if the meathead we all grew up with was living a secret nightmare behind his mansion walls. The legacy at stake. To understand the weight of this tragedy, you have to understand who Rob Reiner was. He wasn't just a director, he was a pillar of American culture. From his days as Michael "Meathead" Stivic on All in the Family to directing the greatest romantic comedy of all time, Rob was a man who preached love, humor, and justice. Seeing his life end in such a violent domestic tragedy is a sensory overload for the fans who saw him as a father figure of Hollywood. Michele Singer, a talented photographer, was his rock for over 30 years. Their marriage was thought to be one of the few bulletproof unions in Tinseltown. But as we often see, the brightest lights cast the darkest shadows. The troubled path of Nick Reiner. Nick's struggles were never a secret, but no one saw this coming. Nick had been open about his battle with addiction, even co-writing a movie about it. Rob Reiner had always been his son's biggest supporter, often speaking publicly about the pain of watching a child struggle with substance abuse. Sources suggest that in recent weeks, Nick had become increasingly paranoid, believing that his father was using his life story for a new project without his consent. Could this professional jealousy, mixed with personal trauma, have created a lethal cocktail? Hollywood psychiatrists are already weighing in, suggesting that the legacy burden of being the son of a legend like Rob Reiner can lead to a total psychological break. The investigation continues. As of this morning, the LAPD is meticulously combing through the Brentwood estate. Leaked reports suggest that they found a journal belonging to Nick that outlines days of reckoning. If this journal is authenticated, it could turn a domestic tragedy into a case of premeditated murder. The legal team for Nick Reiner has remained silent, but rumors are swirling that they will pursue a not guilty by reason of insanity plea. Meanwhile, the film community is planning a massive candle vigil at the Directors Guild of America. But even as they light the candles, the questions remain. Why? Why now? And what really happened in those final moments before the sirens started screaming through the hills of Brentwood? This is a story that is changing by the hour, and the details only get more disturbing. It's a tragic end to a legendary life, but do you really believe a son could commit such a ghastly act against his own parents? Or is there more to this story that we haven't seen yet? Do you think the Hollywood pressure is to blame? Let us know your theories in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you want to stay updated on the trial of the century and more breaking celebrity news, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. You're watching Celeb Buzz USA, and we'll see you in the next update.